Hello there. Let me get myself. Where did that go? There it is. Hey, well, this is all new, so we're going to work our way through this. But you can be young, you can be old, you can be quiet, you can be loud, you can be left, you can be right. But the only thing you cannot be online is boring. So let's say goodbye to Dullsville, and instead, together, let's find better ways to be better virtual presenters. This is your place to get regular inspiration, community, and takeaway tactics. Oh, I like some of those. So, if you want to show up virtually with more trust, more authority, more impact, if you want to touch more hearts, shift more minds, move more feet, if you want to better drive your business, your vision, your mission, hey, you're in the right place. So yeah, this is Goodbye Dullsville. It's an idea I've had percolating away for a couple of months now. I'll just briefly explain what the thinking behind this is. Is two reasons. One, I get really excited about presenting virtually. I mean, I love speaking from the stage. I love making the videos, but this in the last couple of years because COVID came along, all this technology was given to us. And I've just run with this and I just love doing this stuff. So, really, like a lot of my week is spent looking and getting ideas and inspiration. And I thought, you know what, I file a lot of that and nobody gets any benefit from that. Like maybe I go, like I just use it as a resource and maybe I get a bit here and there. And I just thought, it's sort of crazy. And the other thing is years ago, maybe 7, 8 years ago, I had quite a successful YouTube channel. And the reason it was successful was that I turned up and made week after week these videos about what I loved doing. And that was using simple magic and wrapping stories around it and creating them into engaging presentations. And because I turned up like that, um, people liked it. And that's how that grew to be what it was. And I thought, exactly what I was doing there is what I, I'm talking about here virtually is just, I want to share with you all this thinking that goes on in my head, all the new bits of tech that I come across, and all the people who inspire me. So, really, how this is going to go, and it's going to, this is going to evolve over time. But I'm going to point to some people whose work, and this is particularly on LinkedIn that I found them because I know I'm going out to Facebook now, but I tend to hang around on LinkedIn most of the time, and I see things, and I'm just going to call out those people and show you what they did that has inspired me. And give them a bit of LinkedIn love along the way. So that's sort of the idea there. Uh, to let you know too that this is live and it's interactive because I want to build a community with this over time because I haven't found somewhere where there's like a good a place I want to hang out as a virtual presenter. I mean, there's other groups and they're good, but I want it to be more interactive. So you can come on now. I mean, honestly, if you want to come on and talk to me now and maybe share what you've found or going through or ask a question or whatever, you can. If you go to telljulian.com, I've got my interview on. You can come in and I'll bring you in, just side by side like this up here and we can have a chat, and you can be part of this as well. So yeah, it's all just evolving as we go, and so these just going to call these out in no particular order. Travis Lachner, even saw Lachner, Joe Biden's speechwriter. I reckon it's him, her, whoever the person is. Heroic public speaking. Somerset Maughm, Now, like the writer, I've found an account. I don't know how someone's done that. Sort of funny. Matthew Kelly, Helen Lewis, Scott Galloway, Chad Littlefield, PJ Milani, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm not sure how you say that. Hang on, there's phone calls coming in here. Now there's a lesson. Turn your no, actually, now that's going to be interesting. I because I need my phone, and I'll show you how I'm going to use my phone later. But back to and Shane Hatton and Chris Bogue, and all of you have done something that has caught my attention, and I think it's worthy of sharing with other people. And again, if you can put anything in the comments uh, in Facebook, the comments come up on my panel here. So, but with LinkedIn, it's just because of the system I use, Ecamm, that I can go into LinkedIn, but it doesn't pull the comments out. So I've got to sort of keep going back to the panel here. So yeah, hey Louise Kelly, nice to have lunch with you today too. Lovely. Uh, now, where am I now? See, look, this is because I'm male, right? No, I'm not. I cannot do two things at once. I'm just astounded by my wife and her friends and the circle of women that I work with. Just your ability to do two things at once. I can't. Like, I just can't. So you have to bear with me. So anyway, what I'm going to do is go over here to, and I should tell you too, let me just take off that, is this, I'm not going to take you through this now, but this is my process that I use if I'm going to become a captivating online presenter. And, that's important to be doing that now. You just cannot be uh, dull out there. You cannot be online. You don't have to be loud. None of that. It's not singing and dancing. I am, a classic introvert. And I can show up and do this. But I'm going to keep referring back to this, like week in, week out, and probably year in, year out. So just bringing you up to speed that's what's going on there. So this is this is just my phone you're looking at here. And as I go through the week and I just find these ideas, this has worked really well, is that I just use my notes function on my iPhone, and I can collect all the information there because you can put text in, you can put images in, you can put video in. And it means that for me to do these sessions, it's really not much prep at all. I mean, most of it is done, 90% is done on the phone here. And that's really important because if you've followed anything else I do, I talk about frictionless systems. I mean, all this here that I've set up is a frictionless system. This is so easy for me to do this and to just go and produce content, to come live, to add value. And if it's not frictionless, if I have to set up all these lights and do this and do that, I won't do it. And so the phone, and my love of smartphones. Well, if you don't, I'm an advocate of doing so much on smartphones. You're looking at me on a smartphone now. I've got this one in my hand. So this is, and it's just easy. I can just take you through and talk through what I've found. So look, why don't we get into it? I am really big on words, and this comes back to simplifying the message. You've got to be able to speak articulately. And when I mean articulately, I don't mean eloquently. I don't mean speaking with clear diction. I mean articulation. If these were your tools, if you had two clubs and I go, well, let's write something with my very crude tools, I can't do a very good job. But fingers are articulated. And with all these articulations, we can do so much more. And it is the same with our language. If we want to do well and present and be captivating, we have to have the tools to do it. And words are the tools that we can use online. One of the tools online. So when I say speak articulately, that's what I mean there. And so I'm always looking for great little ideas and word plays. And I came across this. So this is from Somerset Maughm, and he's talking about the French Riviera, like Monaco. You know, it's full of fast cars and big yachts and lots of money and tan people and all that. He's got, it's a sunny place for shady people. That is just so good. It just encapsulates everything I said before into that one little line. And so, you know, like it's that lovely play on words, sunny and shady. And look, I'm always looking for that. And the opener that I wrote this about an hour ago. You can be young, you can be old, you can be quiet, you can be loud, you can be left, you can be right. The only thing you can't be online is boring. I just like plays of words. So I'm always storing these. And this is what I'm saying. I mean, rather than me going back, putting all these in my folders and maybe no one ever seeing them, I'm just going to share them. Like, you know, and you can go, huh, he's an idiot, doesn't interest me. Or you can go, oh, I might be able to use that. Up to you. Now, Helen Lewis. If you don't know Helen Lewis, she's an English journalist. She's a staff writer for The Atlantic. She came to prominence because she did an interview with the Canadian Jordan Peterson. And she's done this series, podcast series called The New Gurus. And it's really interesting. If you want to show up online and do this sort of stuff, you know, you can call it being an influencer, thought leader, or whatever. I don't know, you know, but we just turn up and we build a tribe of people who are interested in what we say. Go and listen to this series. It's about 5 episodes long. It's really well produced, beautifully researched and thought out, and it will ground you. Everyone should listen to it just so it grounds you, like you don't starting, you know, to believe your own stories after a while. Anyway, one of the things she was talking about on there was that a lot of podcasts and you know and self-help and all that, it's predominantly men who run these. And she came up with this beautiful line. She was wondering, why is it male dominated so much? And she came up with this: women have friends and men have podcasts. And, you know, like if you listen to the argument, it's so, you know, like it's quite strong. You know, women talk to their other friends all the time and you talk it through, and blokes, reader, you know, most of us, we just sit here in our own heads and, you know, we don't articulate our thoughts and ideas. And, we tend to go on podcasts, and this is certainly the case for me. A lot of the podcasts here, and I'll be referring to, are male podcasts, and it's almost like I get those exchange of ideas, you know, through listening to other men, because you're saying, like, a lot of these men, like on these male podcasts, it's a panel of men. You know, it's 2 men or 3 men, and they just sit there and they just throw stuff out there and they just talk it through. But that's how they do it, rather than talking it through individually with a person. So again, it's just lovely. Women have friends, men have podcasts. Look at that, 6 words. And when you listen to that podcast, that's so easy now to encapsulate that down, that idea, that thinking, into 6 words. The Rhythm of Life. It's a book, I don't know how old, 10 years old, 15 years old, by Matthew Kelly. Beautiful writer. And I went back through and I found this. I had notated this down maybe a couple of years ago. And this is near perfection, right? It's, the structure of this. Not every person with their eyes closed is asleep. Not every person with their eyes open can see. Like, isn't that great? And look at the structure. Not every person with their eyes. So that's the commonality there. And then we go into opposites, closed and open. And then the next opposite is asleep and can see. and there's so much going on in there. Um, so if you can strive towards distilling and percolating all your thinking down over time. I mean, I'm sure that took a long time. He didn't write that first draft, and a lot of these is that you start to play with these ideas and the words, and you put them out there, and then somebody says something. It can be from the audience, and like this online, it can be in chats, and people will ask you something and tell you something and respond to it, and you go, "Oh, that's the missing piece." So this is if you're sitting on the fence and you're not yet going online, you're not yet creating content and showing up. That is one of the big values that a lot of people, until you put yourself out there, and a lot of people don't put themselves out there because they fear the criticism. It's the irony is that you get way less criticism and you get way more help. And it's a big eye opener that once you get on here and start doing this. The Prof G podcast. This is Scott Galloway. I think he's a New Yorker. I'm not sure, but he's a East Coast USA. Um, very smart, sharp mind. And he is like an economics professor or finance professor. I'm not exactly sure. But he gives this analysis of life, career, and what's going on with the economy and politics. And it is like he speaks so fast. He is. I'm slightly in awe of his intellect. But here, another one here. Men have trouble reaching out for help, like men have trouble asking for directions. It's just wonderful. It's so simple. It's nothing more, but that's so repeat. If you say that to someone, they can probably repeat that back immediately. So this sort of stuff is sticky. And again, I'm not making any particular point with these. I'm just saying that this is stuff I looked at. And I thought I'm going to write that down. I'm always searching for these sort of things. So if you see things like this and you want to share them with me, I mean, just put them in a PM, email, do something. And I will attribute that back to you. I'm very big on attribution. I'm not 100% good at it. I mean, I fail at times, but I really do try to attribute back because it's just ridiculous to think that um, you know that you know I'm good at what I do here, but what I know compared to the potential for what I could know and other people know, it's about that much. It really is. So attribute where you can. This one is lovely too here. This is from Scott Galloway. When did we decide that money made from money is more noble than money made from sweat? So he was talking about the imbalance with a lot of tax breaks and going to high income earners and not to lower income earners. And that's almost poetry. Oh, it's just so wonderful. And I mean, I don't know what you feel about these. You might go, God, this guy's off on another planet. But no, this is the sort of stuff that excites me, and I want to come on and share it with you. And then I saw this on an ABC news report, and it came from Joe Biden. But so that means if Joe Biden's saying it, it's not. It's Joe Biden's speechwriter. And if it's Joe Biden's speechwriter, you can almost guarantee it's his speechwriter's deputy or associate or assistant or someone, an intern who was walking past the office that day. They never write it. But he was talking about this misinformation out there. And there's a poison running through our democracy and parts of our extreme press. Truth buried as lies and lies living on as truth. Again, I mean, in such a few words, there's so much that's said there. And again, that's very, very sticky. These are, put your idea, if you want your ideas repeated out there, make them sticky like this. Oh, now, this is Chad Littlefield. I met Chad Littlefield through a community that I was in. It was Thought Leaders Business School a number of years ago. And Chad is a facilitator, and his audience seems to be like college students. And so a couple of things. Go and check out Chad's work. Check out his website. Just chase him up. You'll find him. Like, you want an example of a beautifully structured website. It's just um, it just works. It does not just looks beautiful. It works so well. Go check it out. Like, it's A plus. It's what we should aspire to if we wanted a website. But anyway, he was showing this example of when he was doing a facilitation session, that what he got to do people to do was to write down, think about their first job that they ever had when they were 16 years old or something. You know, you have your first job, to write down what it was. So people wrote it all down like this, and they put it on their post-it notes, and they handed them in, whatever, and they talked about it. But then he went on to say, then after they'd done that, now imagine they were a CEO of that business or company where they had their first job, and ask them what is the one thing that they would do now. They're thinking about being as in a CEO's mindset, to make that life, of the 16-year-old, to make them feel more connected, successful, or happy in the job. And I just thought, wow, you're looking for a virtual, tool to use. Maybe you've got a Zoom call, and maybe you're sitting there and you've got, 10, 15, 20 people all staring at you, and you want to get them engaged. This is a wonderful one. And I love it, because I think writing it down and talking about your first job has been, it's nothing new about that, but the way that he's extended this out, and then, flipped the mindset and the thinking on that. I thought that was a great idea. Big thumbs up, Chad. Love that. Oh, now, this guy came up in my feed, PJ Milani. He's a high school teacher in Texas, and he does all these graphics, and that's what he said. I mean, look at daily visuals to simplify complexity. I mean, even that's it. Like, simplicity in his headline up there. But he just did. I followed him. I mean, this is just an example. He just does these simple graphics. So this is, failure. We just think failure is this two-dimensional. It's either, we succeed or we fail. But just with that diagram, it's actually, no, it's bigger than that. There's all these lessons behind it. There's a lot more behind the failure. So he's just got this lovely way of taking a message and visualizing it. So he's worth following. I would go and follow. And, I went on there and I was reading the chat a bit below, and there was some person that came on and started to nitpick all about the logic about his graphics. And I just thought, oh my goodness, he's a guy. I mean, look, his work is good. It's simple. You can look at this and go, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I can start my thinking and get my concept on this. Yet this person was absolutely pulling him to pieces on this. And I thought, rather than that, go back and have a look at the guy's profile. Like, he served for 18 years as a high school teacher. I mean, me personally, I think people who educate our children and choose that as a profession, we should support them a little bit better than just being nitpicky. Anyway, that's another thing. But this started me thinking. This is the point. It started me thinking about failure. And one of the things is that we go online and we put our content, we put videos, we do virtual, and we don't get the interaction. And we go, oh, it's failed, I'm not doing it. And it reminded me of a post that Chris Bogue. Now, Chris Bogue comes from Chicago. He's a guy who's come out of business-to-business sales. And his spin-on thing is helping. He's also got a comedy background and improv background, and he helps people create more engaging, simple little video content. He's really good, and he's come on and he's building up his own business and he's building up a following. And he did this wonderful post about people saying that, why bother? I'm not getting the engagement. Um, Go and follow this up. I will put a link. I've got another video that I've made. So I've got a video coming out that links back to this particular thing. You can go check it out there. But it was basically saying, this is a longer game as well. And Chris and I talk about this a bit. If you think you're going to come on and start putting content and think it's all going to work brilliantly, yeah, it's just not. Okay, you might be the 1 in 1,000 where it does, okay, but for the other 9,999 of us, or whatever it is, 999 of us, it's going to be a slog. You've got to get into this for the long haul. Anyway, that got me thinking, and then I saw this post that came up in Ariana Huffington's feed. Look at that, 10 million followers. Hey, not a bad number, is it? So there's this video that came up, and it's a sports video from the week. I'm just going to play it through in a minute. But in your mind, every time they talk about sport or basketball or game or whatever, put in video, virtual, showing up on LinkedIn, because it sort of spells it out. This I love this. Now let me bring this up here.
God. Okay, because I'm not that.
Okay.
I just asked Bud the exact same question, but I'm curious for you. Do you view this season as a failure?
Oh my God. Okay, because I'm not that up. You asked me the same question last year, Eric. Okay. Do you get a promotion every year on your job? No, right? So every year you work is a failure. Yes or no? No. Every year you work towards something, towards a goal, right? Which is to get a promotion, to be able to take care of your family, to be able, provide the house for them or take care of your parents. You work towards a goal. It's not a failure. It's steps to success, and if you've never, no, I don't want to make it personal. So there's always steps to it, Michael Jordan played 15 years, won 6 championships. The other 9 years was a failure? That's what you're telling me? I'm answering your question. Yes or no? Okay, exactly. So why are you asking me that question? It's a wrong question. There's no failure in sports. There's good days, bad days. Some days you are able to be successful. Some days you're not. Some days it's your turn. Some days it's not your turn. And that's what sports is about. You don't always win. Some other people's gonna win. And this year, somebody else is gonna win. Simple as that. We're gonna come back next year, try to be better, try to build good habits, try to play better, not have 10 days stretch with playing bad basketball, and hopefully we can win a championship. So 50 years from 1971 to 2021 that we didn't win a championship, it was 50 years of failures? No, it was not. It was steps to it, and we were able to win one. Hopefully we can win another one.
I just asked Bud the exact same question, but I'm curious for you.
Oh, let me get rid of him. Go. There you go. Yeah. So what? Yeah. Look, when we're doing this, when we are turning up, these are steps towards our bigger goal of driving our business and our vision and our mission out there. And you're going to take knockbacks all the time with this. So if you show up and go, look, I did it for 2 weeks and nothing happened, it's just not how it works. I would say you've got to have a year game plan to do this. And it's not hard, just to keep doing it and iterating it and making it better and making your thinking, getting clarity in your thinking. That's the important thing. Now, Shane Hatton is a speaker and a coach and a trainer. And I just saw this video that came up, and really what got me here was he had this little, down the bottom of his post here, I can't tell you how much I laughed filming this and how much this really is an insight to my sense of humor. Now, this video, I'll just play a little bit here.
Happy birthday to you.
Bring it down. So it's about like a 1 year celebration of his book. And like it's not a great video, but it doesn't have to be. What this is so good at is that you're getting an insight into Shane Hatton in person. And if you were thinking about, do I want to work with him? Like this is like another step of building that know, like, and trust, of just putting it out there. So I just thought this was a fun little piece. We won't watch a whole lot there, but thumbs up, Shane. You're leading the way, just showing you can use the technology you've got, have a little bit of fun, put it out there, and make it work for you. And then Travis Lachner. I mean, I don't know. I just sort of, I'm connected with Travis, and again, he's in the sales world. But this is, it was just a fun little post, but I collected this because when I'm doing workshops, or whether it's in person or virtual, and particularly virtual, we have to compete with whatever else is online. And and that moves fast. And if you go onto YouTube and well-produced videos and it's entertaining, you can't just come in and just go on and on and on with your content and information. You've got to break it up. And I just make these little points of interest in there. And so this English is tough, but it can be understood through thorough thought, though, and just that play on words. And if I was having that in, I would stack, English is tough, but then through thorough thought, though, underneath each other and quite big. And I don't make a big point about it. I just would bring it on and say it, and let people think about it for 5 seconds and then move on. And it's almost like these little things are like they're little knocks to the head. They just shake people out. So I'm always collecting things like that. So Travis, well done to you. Heroic Public Speaking, which is a company run by Michael and Amy Port in America. Great if you want to get on and become a public speaker, they've got a great program, really built it up well. I just saw their headline, a speech has the power to change the world and the people in it, including the speaker. I just thought, wow, template. That is a template. That just goes in the file, and maybe I'll have an idea where I can steal that template from there. And that's it. That's it there. So they're my ideas that I have come through this week. Maybe you can use some of those. One of the things too is I just want to quickly mention here, if there's anyone that happens to be watching, and if you're in Malaysia and Singapore, I am maybe next month, hopefully, or the next month after, going to do a 3-city road tour in Penang, Kuala Lumpur, and Singapore, and take a virtual presentation workshop, 2 days, and we can really get down and work on your project, and it's all hands on. You get access to me. So if you're there or you know someone and you want to be involved in that, would it be useful to you, or someone that would be useful to, just contact me, because it's all just in the it's very close to being whether it's going to be ticked off to go or not. But if that is of interest to you, let me know, and I'll put you on the list and I will keep you updated. The other thing is, I've got this now. If you are on LinkedIn, or you can go to goodbyedullsville.com. That's it. And I've got my emergency presenter kit. This is, again, it came with this idea of I've had stuff sitting there, and I thought, what good is it just sitting, like, literally, metaphorically, in the drawer and no one having access to it? So I have this with me everywhere, and I literally have it on my phone. And if I'm called on at short notice to step in and maybe MC an event, whether that's in person or to host something online, or to get up in front of a room full of people and say something, like I said before, I'm male. I have a very slow processor in my brain. I can't jump around like this. Like I think about one thing and I go deep and then I come up again. And I really get stuck if I have to do things off the cuff. So I created this emergency kit. And it's a whole lot of these lines and audience interaction bits that I keep on hand. So if I've got to speak impromptu, I can at least in the intro, write, like a good line, have a bit of audience interaction, maybe an activity, and I just go back, it's mix and match. I'll take that, I'll take that, I'll take that. Bang! I've now got a framework, and I can fill out the rest, and it leaves people with a far better impression of you. But anyway, it's there. You can have it for $1. You can't have it free. I thought, no, if you're not even interested enough to pay $1 for it, you can't have it. But if you go to my LinkedIn banner above, you'll see there's a link there. Just have a search around, you'll see. Or if you go to www.goodbyedullsville.com, I've got to get all this into my brain. But that's there. And the people who've got it so far have just loved it. There's way more in there than you actually think. I'm a chronic over-deliverer. People keep telling me, stop over-delivering, and I nod like that, but inside I go like that. I can't help it. There you go. So, look, wonderful. So if anyone has got value out of this, that would be wonderful. Get back and connect with me whenever you can. That is good. And with that, I can't see any questions on here. So with that, you guys just have a lovely, lovely day. And, this is a regular too. I might be on here every week. I might be on here every day. It just depends what comes across. And when I've got something to say, I'll show up and say it. So wonderful, wonderful. Lovely, dovely. Hooroo.